Da 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 da. Weekdays at Burns. He's up. The official theme song. Hello, welcome back. Another day. Weekdays at Burnsies. We're here twice this week. Gosh, it's so good to be here. It's June 24th, 2026. I'm your host, Xander. And we are coming to you live from Nashville on the east side. And we've got a little bit to talk about, a little bit heating up, a little bit more than golf. US Open's done. We're on to the next. What you gotta love about golf season. There's always a Thursday waiting for you after a miserable Sunday. Biggest news coming out of the NBA, Giannis was traded. And we've got World Cup action tomorrow night to wrap up the group stages for the US of A, who have already clinched their group. But we will go over the bracket of who is potentially playing them, where they go. And we'll look at a few other interesting matchups and outcomes as the bracket for the 32 final World Cup teams shapes up pretty nicely. Tell you what, I don't want to say anything crazy, but we'll talk about it. USA 33-1 might have interest now. Might have some interest now. And what else? We have just a little small segment giving giveaways at ballparks. Seen a lot on my feed lately, and I wanted to hear what you guys thought. I wanted to bring them up because there's some good ones coming up here, and thought, what was the best giveaway that you could have at the park? Talk about that. And then, of course, since it's a signature event, we'll have a nice, juicy card for the travelers. We'll talk about a few course horses here that we didn't highlight on yesterday's show. We'll just go in a little bit further in depth into who we should be looking at. And also, is this a single bullet week? A little bit of a foreshadowing, perhaps. But we might as well start in a field we haven't gone to in a little bit, and that's a court. And that court is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo? There we go. I can't say it slow. I can only say it fast. Giannis is a Miami Heat, along with Bobby Portis. Incredible trade. Draft day, not draft night. There were some picks that went the Bucks' way. But the Bucks get Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Giannoulis. This is 4 of the last 6 first-round picks for Miami. Fun fact. So these were all drafted by Miami in the first round, all these players. They also gave 3 first-round picks to the Bucks, a pick swap in 2030, and then a pick in the second round. You have to think that Miami just demolished this trade. 13th pick already. I mean, it was Nicholas Amet from Tennessee. We'll see. But, I mean, 13th, as we've seen in the NBA, few and far between. You've had players like Giannis drafted there. Jokic later than that. Kawhi Leonard and, a little before that. But like that mid-range area, it's always a little iffy. And then the Heat have like this weird roster now where they're definitely hunting for guards. They need 2 guards in the offseason. Got to figure out a way to get a guard or 2. Definitely 2. But they've got like some freaky size for this new Miami Heat roster that they could be very just long and agile, because obviously Bam doesn't play a true 5. And we don't really talk about NBA too much on here, but I'm a fan of what Miami does. I love Spo. I love Pat Riley. And they're going to get creative. They're going to get the best out of the defensive side. They were extremely up-tempo and high scoring this season. Have to think that's going to change because Portis is solid 3, sometimes 4. Giannis everywhere, can bring the ball up. But when you look at like the Heat's full roster, you're actually getting Bam, you're getting Giannis, you're getting Jovic in there as well, who's a talented prospect. You've got Golden from Michigan last year, Vladislav Golden. Oh no, he transferred to Michigan. He played at FAU. Also got, who was their other length that they added? Let's see, Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell. They need to re-sign Andrew Wiggins. That's right. Wiggins is still only 31 years old, which is crazy. Just a solid 3. Like one of the guys that just gets into the office and just clocks in and does his job well is what Andrew Wiggins has shaped up to for his NBA career. It's not going to be your star, superstar, needing max money, but he can pull out some solid contributions. So they're big. They're quick. They're obviously not as big as, a team like San Antonio, but big in the sense of a lot of over 6'8" guys contributing. So we'll see. We shall see. You definitely have to feel good if you're a Heat fan. Giannis on the move finally was talked about so much. The Heat move up from middle of the pack all the way up to the 5th highest odds, 18-1. That's a bit of a jump back. The top 4, I know we're already talking about finals odds, but Spurs, Thunder, obviously gap, Celtics, Knicks, and then bigger gap, Heat, Pistons, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Lakers, Pacers, all in that same range. So pretty big trade. Heroes from Milwaukee. We talk about what Milwaukee gets. Khalil Ware has been a great surprise in his early stages. Jaquez has been a solid contributor, but maybe lacks in scoring. He's a plug and play type of guy, but can he be a starter long term? Probably not. So what they do with those draft picks is going to be interesting. Can Hero be a 1? He's gonna have to get the ball from our guy Ryan Rollins, Toledo legend. Clearly made himself a starter that was very solid in the NBA last season. And we're gonna have to wait and see of what Pat Riley still has in his bag, because he's gonna go out and get some guards. And obviously he doesn't have much to trade, but see what he can get in free agency. So always got to talk about big things that happen in sports. Who doesn't want to talk about the biggest names in sports moving to different teams? It's always exciting. That being said, let's talk some ball. And I'm talking the ball that you only use your foot with. How about some football? United States soccer, football. They win. And then Paraguay beats Turkey. And the United States last Friday night clinched their group. Got about 5 guys sitting with yellow cards, so people think they're going to be sitting those guys. Yellow cards do wipe twice. So at the end of this group stage, they wipe all the yellow cards, so that's why they would sit them here. And then at the end of the quarterfinals, so semifinals and finals would be clear. Or no, is it going into the quarter? It might be going into the quarterfinals. Anyway, so USA has a path. They have already clinched their seed, so let me pull it up. Got a nice little Thanks to the Athletic here, really put this together. So they have a nice little West Coast bias here. They're playing well on the West Coast. They get to stay there. If they make it to quarterfinals, they'd be back in Los Angeles. And then the semifinals, Dallas and New York for the finals. Man, could you imagine the run? As always, technical difficulties. But let's share the screen. Here we go. Perfectly laid out because we still have percentage-wise. It's the first time that they've had third-place teams go through. So we have a few teams that are fully clinched in their spots, but not many. So let's look at the USA. So they will play in San Francisco, Santa Clara on July 1st, which is next Thursday. Great. And they're most likely going to get Bosnia-Herzegovina. They're about to kick off, as we're recording, at 2 o'clock against Qatar. And if Qatar wins, they'll probably play them. But Bosnia's a solid favorite. Looks like they're going to stick around in the 3 spot there for that group. Canada and Switzerland play. But because Canada beat the tar out of Qatar and beat them by 6 with that goal differential, looks like any sort of goal differential would be picked up. And Switzerland beat Bosnia head-to-head. So even if Canada loses to Switzerland, follow me here, and Bosnia wins, they need to score like 8 goals, 8-0 or something. So it looks like the United States is going to get Bosnia, which is a solid draw. Yeah, 58%. It's pretty much locked up. So without getting too far ahead of ourselves, Bosnia would be round of 32. We'd be favored to win. Healthy, yellow cards, clear. Seattle, the other side, it would most likely be Egypt. However, that's not set in stone yet. Egypt has not won that group yet. So Belgium can still win that group. Iran could win that group. See, this is crazy. So if Iran beats Egypt, and if Belgium then draws with New Zealand, or if Belgium doesn't have the or the goal differential greater than Iran because they played each other and they drew, then Iran would win that group, Group G, setting up a round of 32 versus potentially Czech Republic or Algeria. South Korea is not getting third place, so that's not going to fly. Maybe Senegal. So a game that Iran could win. And that would set the stage for July 6th, then 2 days after Independence Day, a United States-Iran showdown on United States soil. Talk about just storylines writing themselves there. Seems very unlikely at this point, but because I think Egypt will take care of Iran. But that is a possibility in that. So you would have to think that Belgium or Egypt would be who the United States would see in the round of 16 in Seattle. Belgium has shown some age. They have shown, we've seen them in the past World Cup where they've took one from us last time in extra time, heartbreaker. But I think that was the match. Maybe that was 2 World Cups ago. Weren't in 2 World Cups ago, but Tim Howard just stood on his head. A million shots. So very winnable games. Egypt very top-heavy in talent. So it looks like the United States would be favored probably against Belgium at this point for what Belgium has turned out. And then that game would then go to Los Angeles, where they could see a team. Now, hear me out here. They could see Ronaldo in Los Angeles, but more than likely, one of the tournament favorites, Spain, could be awaiting the United States in the quarterfinals in Los Angeles. And you would have to think that's where the magical run would come to an end. So enjoy the games and the matches as they come. That looks like USA's most likely path. Unfortunately for us, Spain would be the team waiting. The only good thing is that they are a team that we could keep close. Just the talent there would be a bit lopsided on overall. So interesting to keep an eye out for. A few other things that are happening. Cape Verde, best story of the tournament by far. They could run into a buzzsaw and just get immediately. They're going to runner up their group, which was a long shot to even be in that contention. And they get messy in Miami just right away. Just brutal. And then our runner-up, Australia or Paraguay, would have a pretty decent draw against that Group G we talked about, Belgium, Iran, and Egypt. And one of those 5 teams would play Argentina and Messi. So Messi's path to a repeat seems strong. Seems strong. If Portugal can win their group and beat Colombia in their next match, next Tuesday or Monday, I think next Monday, whenever that match would be. Oh, no, it's on Saturday. Okay, Saturday night. Then here we go. They would play a team like Ghana or Croatia. Ghana has been solid, a very solid team, but haven't been able to put the offense together to make a deep run, you'd think. And then teams like Canada, Switzerland, Algeria. So you'd have to think Portugal would be favored going in to the round of 16, the round of 16 to the quarterfinals. And what would we have there? We would have Messi, Ronaldo, quarterfinals in Kansas City, Missouri, is where that matchup would go down. After those years of Barcelona versus Madrid, who would think the next meeting of Ronaldo and Messi could take place in Kansas City, Missouri? Only in the United States World Cup. That is incredible. Gosh, we can hope for that. And, wow, Kansas City doesn't deserve that. Come on. Can we relocate that game? Can we do a flex like they do in NFL? That shouldn't be in Kansas City. Are you kidding me? A couple others. Looks like Norway could go head-to-head with Brazil in the round of 16. And, boy, would that be an absolute match to see. Holland, how far can he take this team? And then the other thing that we noticed is that Germany-France could be a round of 16 game. And for 2 teams that are top 4 favorite to win, that would be a brutal draw on the 4th of July in Philadelphia. Reminisce of one side's ass that we saved and another side's ass that we kicked about 80 years ago. It'd be the France versus Germany matchup. Yeah. So things are shaping up. As you can see, a lot of positions are pretty much. Oh yeah, when I say as you can see, for all the YouTubers, YouTube listeners, or YouTube watchers, a lot of spots are pretty much statistically set just barring any large upsets. Netherlands, Morocco would be a massive matchup in the round of 32. That'd be by far the worst draw for the round of 32 for two really good teams. And other than that, Mexico would get Scotland, and then Mexico would get potentially England in the round of 16 in Mexico City. That would be brutal. Getting your home runway to the quarters and then facing a team like England is not what Mexico had drawn up for a potential deep run. And then going to Miami. Yeah. Tough. Everyone's basically alive except Jordan, Panama, Tanzania, and Turkey and Haiti. And that's it. That was our talking football. That was our World Cup bracket breakdown. If everything were to hold right here, have to think the path is too nice. I would say Argentina is back in the finals. If this is how it shapes up, and I think they're playing Spain. I think Spain's path is pretty comfortably easy. If Portugal loses to Colombia, bounce backs could upset Spain in the round of 16. Colombia could upset Spain in the round of 16. And then we're talking Ronaldo versus America in Los Angeles. That would be the most pro Ronaldo crowd. So I would think Spain, Argentina in New York on July 19th from what I see right here. Sleeper, England. They have a pretty nice path. I think they have a pretty favorable path if, the only if here, legitimately is fatigue and weather. That elevation and heat, those Brits literally might collapse. Soft Brits. Talking soccer. What a fun event. This is taking over the world. On a side note, I do think that the Freddie guy that's all over Twitter, that's definitely a plant. Continues to blur his face. They're getting everything for free, like conveniently, very, very quickly. And it's just a pro-America propaganda account to basically just show off all Americana across the country. It's pretty harmless, though. Not a propaganda in the sense of anything politically driven. I just think that it's all way too convenient at this point. But man, what a ride it was thinking it was real. But way too convenient, going way too many places. Unless this guy and his two buddies are extremely wealthy and just blurring their faces out. Who knows? And maybe it's just German athletes. Now, that would be a funny twist. Just German athletes we already know that didn't want to reveal themselves, just know their way around the U.S. Yeah. Shout out to Scotland for absolutely dominating the United States in all drinking beers across the country. God, the Scots rule. Absolutely rule. So, give it away. That's a great transition into what else rules, and that's ballpark giveaways. What's the last ballpark giveaway you secured for you, your child, a friend? I'm not wearing it now, but just last month, got a nice Nashville Sounds backyard baseball cap, Pablo Sanchez. Nice to the collection, very slick hat. But are bobbleheads, are they the barbecue of giveaways. Like they always sound the greatest, and then when you actually get it, it's just always underwhelming because you're usually just like stuck with an obnoxiously full stomach with barbecue. You never know what you're going to get cook wise. And then bobbleheads, you're stuck with these figurines that now what? You're supposed to build a shelf for? Or what? You're 36 years old and you're going to store them in the attic and hope that some freak buys a Tariq Skubal bobblehead from 2026? Like, you either have to display them or just flip them quickly. You can't just keep the bobbleheads unless I'm missing out on some bobblehead market that I was unaware of. I think bobbleheads got to display or give them away. So this one caught my eye. Tariq Skubal, you'll see 2 on there. It's not a choice. These are back-to-back nights because he's back-to-back Cy Young winner. So Skubal getting 2 bobbleheads in back-to-back nights, very rare occurrence there. Thought that was cool from the Tigers. And then later in the year, Tigers are also doing this Tiki Cup. I think they said it was 20 ounces. So pretty sizable Tiki Cup. Looks pretty neat. This is one that you could use that you're not just going to need to store on a shelf. Could actually put to use right then and there, actually. Don't need to keep it in the bin. But this one was cool. This one was cool. There's other things like that you can buy. Like they started adding the bats. Buffalo Sabres had the sword, the beer sword you could drink out of. A great touch to the game day experience. But what would be your number one if you've received something or you got there early? Did you purposely wait or did you just arrive there? I like when they do the jersey days. Those are nice. A nice scarf, like a football scarf, like a soccer scarf. That one's easy to display if you're in your 20s. It's a nice one. And yeah, I just may be in the minority, but bobbleheads just overdone, in my opinion. I've never met a friend, and I don't think I would continue maybe the friendship. If you walk into their man cave or office and there's just 100 bobbleheads. Like, yeah, I just every time they pop up on a giveaway, I just have to get the new one. No, thank you. No, thank you. And they're like low-key heavy. So you need some sturdy shelving to display your freaky collection of big-headed men. It's the other thing, just displaying men that are always shaking their heads at you. Suspect. All right, let me know what you have retrieved from the ballpark. I'm very interested to hear. And some of those double A are pretty crazy, so I'd love to hear some crazy ones too. All right. We do like talking golf here. Do like betting on golf. Signature City, Travelers, River Highlands. It's time to talk a little bit about the golf. Let's talk about what some of the players are looking like for the week. Then we'll go into the card. So stop share. Let's share the screen here. As always, couple interesting things here. Brian Harman plays really fucking well at TPC River Highlands. He's rattling off a streak of 5 straight top 10s here. So as we look at recent history, Scottie's obviously won, and then 3 top 15s. That's his last 4 years. Keegan's won twice in the last 3 years. So obviously a home course advantage for Keegan. He loves the Travelers. He just knocks these down. if we remember, last year was the Fleetwood choke, where lost in a playoff. Keegan absolutely stuffs it on 18, and Tommy just cannot make a 4-footer to win the match. Oh, that's right. It wasn't even a playoff. That was to get to a playoff. He missed a 4-footer. That was sad. Yeah. Cantlay also plays really well here. Signature events, shorter. Would have loved to bet Tom Kim this week. Feels like he's kind of rounding into form, a short course. This feels good for him. Some other guys that are playing well right now. Sam Burns, obviously Wyndham. You have to think there's a little bit of a letdown for Clark. JT Poston coming off his win. Bud Colley's looking good. Aaron Rye. One guy down the board that stuck out to me that's played well in some signature events and some non-signature events. Where the hell is he? Probably because he didn't play well at the US Open. Eric Cole. Yep. He was cut. So 8th at the Memorial, 2nd at Charles Schwab, 6th at Myrtle Beach, 6th at Zurich, 31st at the CJ Cup. Cole's been just like steadily figuring it out. If he can stay inbounds, stay in between the lines off the tee, as we talked about when we were going to bet him at Memorial and when we were going to bet him at Charles Schwab, very worried about his off the tee, and he gained back-to-back weeks. Barely lost last week off the tee at RBC, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. Didn't make the US Open field. Jesus, or the PGA. God damn, Cole. Step your shit up, buddy. Played really well round 1 of RBC. Yeah. Cole's the name down the board. Got to keep an eye out. So, when we talk about course horses, traveler horses, these are guys that you want to take a look at. Last 10 years, kind of pointed them out already. Patrick Cantlay. He's played here 8 times in the last 10 years, top 20 in all 8 of his starts. He's minus 116 for top 20 with ties, plus 105 for top 20 without ties. Just seems like an auto bet. Bobby Mack, 2 for 2 top 20s in playing here. Hideki, Adam Scott plays really well here. And then Aaron Rye, Brian Harmon, like we said, 7 for 7, or 7 top 10s, top 20s. So 7 top 10s in his last 10 appearances here. Harmon likes this course. Xander likes this course. Sanjay played here 5 times, never missed the cut. I think it moved to a signature event last year, 2 years ago. So obviously take that with a grain of salt on cuts, because Xander's missed a cut. Scottie's missed a cut here. That had to be right when he was coming up. So a few course horses. J-Day plays well here. He's got 4 top 20s in the last 9 years, or 9 starts. Xander just plays well everywhere. 5 top 20s and 7 starts. So when we think about, obviously, signature events, you're just going to have big names up there. It's just, where do we find the best value? Scottie, 4 top 20s, including a win in his 6 starts here at TPC River Highlands. And then, let's see, who's gaining the most strokes? It's Scottie, it's Cantlay, it's Harmon, Keegan, Tommy, Xander, Russell, Hovland, Hideki, and JT. Top 10 most strokes gained in the last 10 years at River Highlands specifically. So then Aaron Rye, Alex Smalley, and Bobby Mack. A couple other names to keep an eye out for. So those are your course horses to keep an eye out for. Some of those guys made the card. I'd like to see, this is the idea of what, let me go back to this recent. So you want to compare that. Here's my mindset is like a main strokes gain that you want to look at for each course. So this week we want to look at who's been hot around the greens. So I have last 12 rounds. Let's go 16. Last 4 tournaments. Who's been hot? Matt Fitzpatrick around the greens. He's been playing well, obviously. He's got 3 wins on the season. He's got a second. He's got a 22nd. That was stunning. But a player like Mav, who's also putting well. So like Fitzpatrick hasn't been putting well the last 4. So around the greens and putting well, short course. Oh, this is Wyndham. But Mav's the same. JT, but he's the most tipped this week. Do we want to dig into that? Mac Meisner, who's shown some good form this season and hasn't played here, though. So Meisner's one that off the tee could be an issue. Need to see what he's like scrambling. And he didn't peg very, very well in the model. So that's just where my brain goes to is I take what my model gives me, and we're about to go into the model, and then I also run it against recent form of the most important strokes gained stat, and then I see how they've been playing. So a guy like, where's Suber? You want to look at Jackson Suber, see what he's been doing around the green, pretty fair to the field. Same with putting, but he's been out of this world approach. And look, even though he missed the cut at the US Open, a T4, a 4th, and a 19th in 3 of his last 4 events. So that's just very, great form. And these guys are so good at what they do that the form can kind of clear out some of those bad stroke gain stats. A guy like Ben James, you've been seeing him a lot recently. The stud out of Virginia. Did I pass his name? Where's our guy Benny James at? There he is. We can't go too far back here because his third start shown is the 2025 John Deere. He just turned pro. He's 54 at RBC, 23rd at the US Open, including a pretty solid little weekend to stay in it. So Ben James, a young stud that's way down there, 100-1 type category. I can pop up and put his name on the map. And then, of course, we always have to worry about Scottie. So, what's our final model kick out? So, our final model kicked out Scottie as our top, a big gap, Wyndham, Sam Burns, Fitzpatrick, JJ Spawn, Tommy Fleetwood, and then a gap again. Kitayama, Young, Poston, Siwoo, and then a gap. So, those were our top 10. Things that we can't sacrifice here. We need birdie or better. We need strong birdie or better. Bogey avoidance. And then we need good around the green players. We'd like putts inside 10 feet. Sam Burns is looking very well for this tournament then. Another golfer I really like that stat profile lined up, Adam Scott. 22nd around the green, 12th birdie or better percentage, 17th bogey avoidance. Scottie's had a great year. And I'm not talking Scheffler. A good year, I should say. But he's shown flashes of one more in him. 1 or 2 more in him. And he knows what it's like to win. He's got a 4th at the Cadillac, 4th at the Genesis. He's played well in signature events this year. 24th at the Masters, but he was cut in the last two. 12th at Memorial and then cut in the last two majors. So, all that being said, reason I point out Scott there is because we have Scott on our betting card, and that's what this looks like. So, yep, need the early listeners. We'll tweet this out. I do have a Scottie parlay needed, plus 450, with Vinny Jr. and Son scoring in today's matches. Gets us to 27-1. Classic. Scottie, single bullet week. Said it on yesterday's show. I'm going to say it again. He might not lose another tournament this year. That sounds crazy to say, but we are coming to a halt pretty quickly here. He's committed to playing at the 3M. He might be plus 180, like plus 200 at the 3M. So Scottie single bullet this week, 5 units at plus 450. That'll get you like right around 18.5 units. Or no, 22.5 units. And we're going to ride with it. I just see way more consistency out of his game versus the very slow starts he was having earlier in the season. Obviously not perfect still. He's having some misses in key moments, but this still feels like a 3 or 4 win type season for Scottie, for where his game is at. Everything that every stat profile tells you. And a course that he's won at before and has played very well at. I mean, which every time we cover an event, you could argue that for his favor. So, Scottie, boom. Props this week, birdie all par 5s tomorrow. There's only 2 par 5s. We've got pretty good odds. So, Finau Min Woo, going to give a go, and then Jake Knapp. I'm going to ease in with Jake on any sort of betting props besides par 5, since he is the king of par 5s. I think that's how he finds his way back. And then we've got Eagle round 1. Most of these odds are 7-1 or greater. So we've got Ricky eagled one of these holes 3 times last tournament, like last year at the Travelers. You have Akshay, you got Hideki, and we've got Jake Knapp. Good. First round leader, Ben Griffin. Justin Rose, his stat profile lined up pretty well for a potential pop. Same with Ryan Fox, but 1 round pop versus any sort of interest in hanging out for 4 rounds at this course. Same with Sungjae. Sungjae has played well here, and he's been in the mix quite a few tournaments, but putting together 4 rounds has been his biggest issue. And then Jackson Suber, talked about him, highlighted him. So 5 guys that I see first round leader, we're going to rip them. Place bets. Adam Scott, we're going to try this for the first time this year. Going to do a ladder. So Adam Scott ladder, top 20, top 10, top 5. So plus 144, top 20, plus 360, top 10, plus 810, top 5. These are all with ties. So we split up 2.75 units between those 3. Mav top 20 plus 144. Feel really good about that one. Just didn't want to dip too many in the top 10. Feel like potentially bumping him up. We'll see. But right now, Mav top 20, Gerard top 10. If he continues to putt like he's putt the last couple weeks, course like this, he could definitely put some pressure on Scottie. Finau top 20. Just don't trust him to contend just yet, but it feels like he's on the precipice. Feels like he's right there at the door, knocking to contend and get back to the old Finau ways that we know. Ricky, same thing. Talked about it last week. We put him on the card to win a major. Crazy. Looking at our card last week, Ricky and DJ to win a major were actual dollars that we bet. That just trying to put that stuff in the past. Can't win US Open bets at the Travelers. But Ricky top 20 at plus 186 is something I do like because that doesn't involve him winning or closing down the stretch. But he is someone that, buyer beware. I could see popping at an event like this. This is a Ricky type event. And then Ryan Fox top 20. Again, don't like him to close in a field like this with some of the mistakes he can make off the tee. But he is a guy that's just kind of playing some good golf right now. And his profile fits this course well. So that's who we got. Placements, Scottie single bullet week. Final take that we have for today is nothing crazy. Not some there is no soapbox like I had on Wednesday or Tuesday, I guess, for any sort of Wyndham Clark fallout. That's over. It is what it is. Final take is that football should be here to stay in the United States. It has been electric to watch. Could you imagine if people actually cared? We could have things like this every day with baseball, but people don't care about baseball. Like having a World Cup match start at noon and they split out one game at a time. There's 4 games a day. Has been electric. Soccer should do something about that. That would be great to grow the game here, especially in the summer for us. But that's way out of my breadth. The bars have been packed in the United States. Everywhere has been packed. It doesn't matter how many players on the team. Just keep supporting it. It's an electric thing that we won't get for maybe till we're very old and very gray. But the United States does have a legitimate chance to make a run in this tournament, the way everything is shaking out. So continue to support that club, our nation, and enjoy the Travelers. Thank you for supporting. Help me get big in the golf world and sports world in general. But we'll cross off the golf world first. As long as I keep printing you money, I hope you can support me. And that's just as easy as a like and subscribe. I'm not asking you for your money. I'm not going to show you my feet. That's a guarantee. On that note, thank you. As always, love you. Bye.